If you are looking to get your first 1,000 followers on Pinterest or to grow your current following on Pinterest, no matter your account size, then you are in the right place. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how I grew this account right here to over 2,000 followers on Pinterest and this account right here over to 149,000 followers on Pinterest, and have helped countless other people do the same. Now, this is not going to be some fluff video that is not going to teach you anything or giving you any actionable insights. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how many pins you need to have to get 1,000 followers for your specific niche, tips and tricks for creative that actually brings in followers and engagement. And at the end, I'm also going to be sharing a brand new feature inside of Pinterest that I think that people who are early adopters to this are going to exponentially grow their Pinterest accounts. Now, one important thing I do want to note before we jump in is that followers are maybe not the most important metric when it comes to Pinterest, but having more followers definitely does help you achieve other metrics such as more sales, more clicks, more impressions on your pins. But just know it's not the most important thing when it comes to Pinterest, but it does definitely help. Now, step number one on this journey is to study your niche. I'm going to show you two different ways to study your niche. One that is a faster way but requires a paid tool, and then a manual way to do this as well, but takes a little bit longer. And when we are studying our niche, we are looking for two specific things. We're looking for one, what type of creative and pins are working for our niche. The second thing we're looking to find out is something that I call the pin to follow ratio. The pin to follow ratio is the total amount of followers divided by the total amount of pins. This will give us an idea of how many times we need to post for our specific niche in order to gain the amount of followers that we want to. So stick with me here. I'm going to walk you through this process. Okay, so here's how to quickly gather data on your niche. So I'm using a tool called Pin Inspector. I'll leave a link down below for anybody who wants to get this. This is a paid tool, just a disclaimer there. And you do have to connect your Pinterest account for this to work. I personally use my big Pinterest account that has the most followers. I know that some people are worried about connecting it to their Pinterest account. So if you're worried about that, you can create a separate Pinterest account and connect it. I personally have used my personal account and I haven't had any problems with it. So from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to this board tab and you're gonna go and type in whatever your niche is that you're wanting to study. For us, we're going to stick with the recipes niche. I'm going to just type in chicken recipes here, and that's going to be the example we're going to use for this video. And then you can see here, you can go through and add the total amount of people. I found that 200 is a good amount to do this research. So I'm going to do 200 and then search here, and it takes a minute for it to load in. You're going to notice it's coming through. So now we have these loaded. This is going to give you a ton of data. You have the username, the amount of followers, the amount of people that they're following, the board count, the pin count. But the most important thing that we are looking for here is the followers and the pin count. What we're going to do with this data from here is you're going to click File down in this bottom right-hand corner, and you're going to export this to a CSV. From there, what I do is I copy and paste it into a Google Sheet. That's just how I like to work. And then we end up with a sheet that looks something like this, where we have all this data in one central place for 200 of the people inside of our niche. But we're not done here. What we're going to do now is calculate the pin to follow ratio. We're going to add another column to this right here, and we are going to just call this the pin to follow ratio, pin to follow. We'll just call it that. And what I do is just simply do equals and then the follower count divided by the total pin count. And what this is going to tell you is for this specific user, for every pin that they have, on average, they are gaining 4 followers. Now, hopefully your brain's starting to spin to understand how powerful this actually is. And you start to realize that getting followers ultimately ends up just becoming a math game. But this is just based on one sample size. And so we want to get a bigger sample size to understand what the average is for this specific niche. So we're going to take this and we're going to drag this formula all the way down for these 200 people. We're going to add a few decimals so we get the exact number that we need. There we go. And then we are going to get the average here. And then we're going to add up the sum of the followers. Then we're going to add up the total pin count for this niche. And then we are going to do the exact same equation. This divided by this equals 1.796. Now, what does this number mean? This means that for the cooking niche, on average, when you are posting, you should be shooting for 1.7 followers per pins. So if you are looking to get 1,000 followers inside of Pinterest, let's just do the math here. So 1,000. So we're doing 1,000 divided by 1.7. That means if you are really committed to this niche and wanting to do this, on average, it is taking users 556 pins to get to this point. Now, I think this number is critical for a couple of different reasons. One is I think people get on Pinterest and they think that their first 5 or 10 pins is just going to automatically change the world for them and they're going to have millions of followers. It's not the case. 2, this also gives you a realistic target and a realistic goal to go after for actually creating pins. So I know that number may scare a lot of people, but I think it's important for you to understand how much work or how much input you actually need to get the output of followers that you expect. And of course, this number is just a benchmark. You want to shoot to have a higher pin to follow ratio. And I'm going to show you steps on how to do that. So what I like to do from here actually is to come through and put this in a table. And from here, what we're going to do is this pin to follow ratio. We want this to be Z to A, where it's showing us the highest amount, the people that are posting the least amount to get the most amount of followers. And these are the people that we want to study, because clearly whatever they are posting is really resonating with people and bringing in likes, follows, and engagement. From here, I would take these top 20 profiles and go and research all of them to understand what is working, what kind of pins they're doing, what kind of formats, what kind of fonts. You can come through. Essentially, what I would do is just grab this profile. So let's get this, Melissa's Real Recipes, and look to see what she's doing. It looks like for her, what's really working is video format for this specific niche. You can see almost every single, it looks like every single post is a idea pin or a video pin. So go through and do that for all of your different niches and take inventory of what is working and notes and things like that. I do want to show you a manual way on how to do this. I use this paid tool to make this process a lot faster, but here's the manual way on how to do this real quick. If you wanted to know how to do this, just at a smaller scale and without a paid tool like Pin Inspector. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to do is open up a Google Sheet and put profile, board count, followers, pin count. Then we're gonna come over here to Pinterest. We're gonna come over to this profile. We're gonna do a quick search, and you wanna make sure that you are, I just did my pins. You're gonna wanna make sure you are in all pins. And then from here, you're gonna wanna switch over to profiles. Now, what we're looking for here is smaller accounts that have around that 1,000 to 5,000 followers. Or if you were a bigger account and want to grow even more, you're looking for accounts that have the amount of followers that you want to achieve. So we're going to scroll through here, and this is going to take a minute to go through and find these, because you can see right here, right from the beginning, this is showing a lot of the bigger people. They have hundreds of thousands of followers. So you're going to have to scroll for a while and kind of skim through this list to find some of these. So once you found a few different accounts that are around that follower count, you can see here I found one with 4,000 followers, one with 2,000 followers, and one with 8,000 followers. So what you're going to do is copy this profile, come over to this sheet that we just created, copy that profile in there, and then we're going to go back over and find their board count. And how we do that is go over to this saved. So once we're on the boards page, what I like to do is count how many are in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here, and then I'll count how many rows there are. So we know there's 7 per row. So if we go through and count these, 1, 2, 3, 18, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 18 times 7. So this profile has 126 boards. So we're going to put that right there, 126. And then we're going to take note of their followers. So they have 4.9 followers, 4,900 basically. And then this is the part where you go through and count the pins. This will take a little bit of time. Go to the created, and then use that same method of, okay, there's 7 in a row. Go through and count how many rows they have of pins. Okay, so let's just say that they have 1,200 pins. And once you have the board count and the followers, you go through and then of course do the pin to follower ratio. Now, this is gonna take a lot longer, especially, and you probably aren't gonna wanna go do this for 200 people, but do it for maybe 5 or 10 just to get an idea of what your number is. So now we know and understand what our pin to follow ratio is. I wanna talk about some best practices and things that I've personally found that really works for pins that get followers. So we're gonna go rapid fire and give you an idea of some of the pin types that have worked for me. So the first one is hack type videos. People love hacks. They love life hacks. They love cooking hacks. They love DIY hacks. They love marketing hacks. A hack is something that is shareable, likable, and makes you seem like an authority figure in your niche. So here's a couple examples. Which gadget is better? This is a cooking example. Any kind of hacks that you can do inside of your niche, go through and create videos or content related to that. If you don't know a hack for your niche, Google it, try and find it and study different ways that you can create videos on those. The second type of pins that do really well to gain more followers is list steps / countdown types of videos. You can see 8 blog niches that make blank amount of money. This is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. People naturally want to finish all the way to the end. So whether it's a video or a still image, they do really well. This one sounds kind of funny, but this is one that has worked specifically for me very well. It may not work for every niche, but I do want to highlight it because it's something that has worked for me. Arrows, red arrows, particularly people's eyes are just naturally drawn to arrows. And so you can see any way that you can incorporate information or arrows into your pins can do really well. Infographics are another great way to go as well. And then make sure that you are utilizing captions or text on your Pinterest videos or standard images as well, because a lot of time people are scrolling through Pinterest with their volume off. And so having a caption of what the video could be can really stop a user in their tracks and get you more of those followers. And then one other tip for creative is don't be afraid to include a CTA at the end. I don't have an example here. There's plenty of different examples, but you know what I mean. Just at the end, it's like, hey, follow for more cooking recipes, or follow for more workout routines, follow for more marketing tips on XYZ. And I wouldn't recommend going through and doing this every single time, but I would recommend including a CTA when possible. But like I said, these are all things that have worked specifically for me and the niche that I'm in. I do encourage you to study the people that have the top pin to follow ratio in your specific niche. And tip number 3 that I have for you is to A/B test your pins. So you can see here that I have this pin right here that I pinned just today. It's not doing great so far, but it's an image of a slat wall. But down here, I have this image that's the exact same. It just has more context. And then here is a slat wall as well, but it has a different image, different picture. Over here, I have a slat wall as well. So all basically pictures of the exact same things, just overlaid with different text or different angles or pictures of that image. And in order to create different variations and A/B test your pins just like this, I like to use Canva to go through and actually design my pins. For those who aren't familiar, Canva obviously is a great tool for Pinterest. Do an exact Pinterest pin right here. And what I'll do is there's lots of awesome templates here, or I'll make one of my own. Say that I like this template. You can go through and use this exact template, go through and download it as V1. And then let's say that I wanted to go through and change the images here. So let's pretend that I went through and added, a couple of different images on this and changed it up a little bit. And then now I have V2, which is the exact same, but there's just different images here. That's how I quickly create different versions of creative to rapidly test. And when you find a pattern or a color, a font, an outline that works, double down on that. And let me show you what I mean. Here's an example. So this is what I mean when something works, double down. So you can see this first one on the left. I posted this kind of format where it shows the main outcome and then it has three or four different variations of the process. It did really well. So over the past 30 days, here's the stats on it. A lot of engagement. So I was like, I wonder if I take other projects and do that exact same thing, if it'll do well. And you can see here, this next one did even better with this exact same format. This is a newer pin, so I imagine it will continue to get more traction, but I found a pattern that works specifically for my specific niche. And this next thing is something that I wish somebody would have told me about from day one when I created my Pinterest account. And this is really important because you can't really understand what's working well if you can't track it. And right now, currently in Pinterest, there isn't a native way to see follower growth. So you can't see yesterday how many followers you got or how many followers you got a month ago. And so I want to show you how to start doing this and show you why it's important that you do this today. Now, what you're going to want to do is go and sign up for a Tailwind account. Tailwind does have a 100% free plan that will give you this data that you need. No worries about paying there. I do have a paid Tailwind account because I do think there are awesome features to grow your Pinterest account. If you are interested, I do have a link down below to sign up. It is an affiliate link, but I wish somebody would have told me about this sooner. So if you come over here to the insights, this is the best way to keep track of your followers. Like I said, this is data that you can see for free. I have the upgraded plan, so I see more data down here, but you'll be able to see this view right here if you come over here and then go to insights and you come over to pin followers. And this is why I say you should do this today, because you'll notice, unfortunately for mine, say that I wanted to see all the way back to, let's say March even, and you'll notice that my graph, if I come here to followers, you're going to notice that my graph only goes to August 7th. And the reason for this is the day that I signed up for Tailwind. And so you can see, I can see my growth from August to here to November. I've been able to grow 10,000 accounts, but I wish I could see the growth all the way from day one. So this will help you to understand day by day what's actually working and what's driving followers and how many followers you are currently gaining a day. So if you haven't already, sign up for the free Tailwind account so you can have this data starting today, because it won't retroactively give you the follower account. All right, and now on to the last tip that I have for you, and that is a brand new thing that Pinterest is rolling out that I think if you're early to this, you have the opportunity to exponentially grow your account. And that is, if you come over here to create, you're going to start noticing there's going to be this little tab here for Go Live Beta. I've checked in all of the Pinterest accounts that I have access to, and they all have access to this. I don't know if this is just for the United States or where they're rolling this out to, but this is going to be huge if you want to grow your account. And let me give you a little bit more details on this. So you can see here, this is more information about this new Go Live feature that they're having. The thing that makes this so crazy is that all eyes are on you. So if you apply to this and get accepted, Pinterest TV live stream platform is filled with incredible growth for creators. It only features one live episode at a time. So when people tune in, all eyes are on you. Creators who host Pinterest TV see strong audience growth. As you grow your audience, you may also become for more monetization options and partnerships. And the awesome thing about this is Pinterest is saying that all creators are eligible to apply. We evaluate the applications based on your idea's feasibility for live format. So what you want to do is go over to your Pinterest account, and you're going to notice when you come over to this little tab, Go Live, it's basically going to have you go through and fill out this application to apply your idea to go live. If you get accepted into this, I think this is going to exponentially grow your Pinterest account and give you lots of opportunities to get more followers. So hopefully now you have a ton of action steps to grow your Pinterest account. If you're looking for even more, I recommend checking out this video on how to create pins that go viral, and we'll see you in the next one.